I'm Jean Kuhn, and today I would like to tell you about my very good friend, Vickie Griffith from the Sunshine State. Man, that's a tongue twister. From the Sunshine State of Florida, where 65 degrees is cold and 90 degrees is almost hell. Vickie lives with her husband and their retired service dog, Kim, and rescue dog Red. She's an author of Stuck Up, A Breakthrough Path to Unstuck, and you can be right about everything and still have nothing. Professional speaker and certified hypnotist. Please welcome my friend, Vickie Griffith. Hi, Vickie. How are you today?
I'm fabulous. Thank you. And thanks for the invitation. I'm excited to be on your podcast.
Well, first of all, sorry about the flub at the beginning, but really, Sunshine State, right?
That's what it's called. I didn't make that up.
It just threw me for a loop there.
Except it's thundering right now, so you might hear that in the
Oh, that's
background.
so funny. That's so funny. Well, today, hey, listen, welcome to the Milk Crate Moments podcast, right? So, as always, right, I'm looking to find out people's milk crate moments because I think that there is, we feel better about ourselves when we know other people are struggling or have struggled and come through it, right? And I've told my milk crate moment a million times. So today, I would like to hear what's your business milk crate moment for you, and then we'll talk a little bit more about that.
Sure. So, and it is a little difficult to share. So that's why I'm grateful that you've got this podcast going because people need to know that most of us, probably all of us, go through these and we come out on the other side a little bit better, maybe even phenomenally better on the other side. So my milk crate moment was the moment that I signed up for a year-long coaching program that was really, really pricey. And this was probably about 15 years ago. This was my first official coaching program that I signed up for.
Mhm.
And every night at 1 or 2 o'clock, I would wake up and go, oh shit, what have I just done? For about
Yes.
a week after I signed up for it. It was scary. It scared me crazy.
Well, let me just say, this is you and I met in a pricey coaching program, right? And I will say from that perspective, I did not have that. I knew I needed it. I knew that I was never going to get to where I wanted to be without it. So, but that 15 years ago, it wasn't as prevalent as it is right now, right?
Right.
There wasn't as many people out there to help you. So tell me a little bit more about that pricey coaching program.
Well, it ended up actually being, I'm going to go to the end of the story. The end of the story is everybody wants to know it worked out great. It was the best thing that I did need for myself. But here was what was going on as I'm going through those, oh my gosh, and those sleepless nights. And what did I do? And what's wrong with me? And you should be able to do this on your own,
Yeah.
which is just all a lot of lies. What actually it came down to when I started digging a lot deeper was I worth the investment in my
Mhm.
business? And then I questioned, because that's easy to say, yes, I am, even if you don't feel it. And then I questioned, am I willing to do what it's going to take? Because being a highly sensitive and being an introvert, I knew it was going to take more than I pushed myself to do
Mhm.
to be out there, visible, to network, to whatever it was at the time. And I wasn't sure I could. So those two questions kept dogging me until finally I could release the belief around the question so I could move forward and do what I needed to do, even if it scared me. And that's in the coaching program we met in, that scared me a lot. That was like the next level.
Mhm.
But I was at the point, like you said, I knew I needed it and I knew I needed that type of coach.
And I think too that I think if someone's not worked with a coach, they don't know what they don't know,
Right.
right? And they're sitting there thinking like you were, if I could do this myself, why can't I do this myself? Well, you can't do it yourself because you don't know what you don't know. And until you figure that out, it took me 28 years of struggling as an entrepreneur to have the success that I really wanted in this business. How long were you in business, and how long was that for you, that maybe you went through that process as well?
Well, I'm really kind of ashamed to say that I tried to do it on my own for 5 years. And that wasn't working well for me. So there's a definition of insanity right there, doing the same thing over and over again, getting the
Okay,
same
so
result.
I'm feeling a little bit like a loser now that I stuck it out 28 years before I really got the help that I needed. But so tell me what happened. What was made a difference for you when you got a coach?
Well, one, it was like you said, I didn't know what I didn't know, even though I'd been working in business for a long time. It's a different aspect of business.
Mhm.
So I was in the college industry for a long time, totally different aspect. And what it did for me is it gave me structures, it gave me a sounding board, a place where I could question what was going on. Am I going in the right path? The path was laid out for me basically. And there were some little offshoots that I could take, but really the path was laid out. So if you just did this, it would work out for you. And sometimes it was trusting that as well, because I had been doing it on my own for so long and thinking I could do it on my own for so long and running $1 million business in the past and thinking, well, I should have enough experience to be able to run my own business. Totally two different animals.
Completely two different
Mhm.
animals, right?
Yeah.
And oh man, well, let's talk about what you're doing now.
Oh, absolutely. So what I am doing now was something that was very difficult for me at the very beginning, and I've learned to shift the belief systems around it, and I'm doing sales and sales training. So I work with a lot of solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, small businesses that have to do their sales.
Mhm.
I also work with corporate training. So I train sales teams. And a lot of my clients are highly sensitive and introverts, just like me. Go figure. And we find out what's the hang up. And it's sometimes not what you think it is. That's again why you work with someone else, like a coach, because I can come into my coach and go, well, it's this, this, and this. And they're going to go, it's not. It's this, this, and this. And when I do that, it works. Huh, there's a surprise. So that's the same type of thing that people come to me all the time and go, well, my mom screwed me up. And once we start working through things, it's really some things that the dad said.
Mm.
So, or an aunt said, or a teacher said, it just all depends. So you may think you know, but you don't really know what's going on. And I can help you change that. So I'll give you an example of that. I had a client who was a CFO for a large city in Florida. And she wanted to start her side hustle. She wanted to get rid of the 9 to 5 job, and she wanted to make more money than she could in her work, even though she was paid very well. And she called every day very important people throughout the entire world and talked to them without a problem. She'd get home at night and have trouble picking up the phone to call her clients, people who had bought from her, people who loved the product.
Mm. We've all
And
seen that.
and when we finally boiled it down, it was feeling disloyal to her family, because her family's unspoken rule was you went to school, got your higher degree, went and got a job, worked there forever until you died, basically.
Well, I
And
want to hear more about this, but we're going to take a 30-second commercial break, if you will. And don't
absolutely.
don't forget where we were, because I want to hear more about how you helped her get through that, okay?
Sure.
So, we are going to let's do this. We're going to just talk for just a brief moment about the Turnaround Conference, which is coming up October 19th, 20th, and 21st. It's in the Chicagoland area, and it really is about creating a business that you can create your own freedom and choice. A perfect example of this, of what choice looks like, is on Friday. Vickie, I don't know if you know this. On Friday, I said to my husband at breakfast, what do you think about leaving and going to Memphis today? We'll stay at the Peabody Hotel for 2 days. We'll see the ducks marching in and out, and we're going to go see Graceland. We just saw the Elvis movie. And he said, okay. And by 3 o'clock, we were out the door headed to Memphis from the Chicago area, right? So that kind of life where you can just come and go as you please is really freaking awesome. So I'm going to be talking a lot about how to create a life of build freedom and choice in a down economy, right? Nobody wants to call this a recession yet, but that's exactly where we are right now. And the reason we're not calling it a recession is because midterm elections are coming up, right? So nobody wants to be responsible for the recession just yet. So you guys, hey, this is if you care at all about building your business, you should be at the turnaround conference. And I'm just going to pop this in here. You should be at the turnaround conference coming up in October. I'd love to have you there. Okay, so let me stop sharing this. And I'm going to bring my beautiful guest back on. And you're going to continue to tell us how I think I know how you helped her, but I want to hear really what you did for her.
Oh, absolutely. And thanks for asking. So how did I help her? One was a conversation, and through many conversations, sometimes we find out things right away. Other times it might take months to get to the reality of what's being hidden in the mind. What we also did was reprogram the subconscious mind through hypnosis. I am a certified hypnotherapist. And so we looked what's going on in the mind. And when you start reprogramming the mind, you reprogram the brain, which is awesome. And it's a quicker and faster way to change what you think and feel about yourself and others in certain situations. I talked to a neuroscientist once. And everyone loves affirmations, and I love affirmations. They do make me feel good, and so I keep doing them. But he said, you have to do one affirmation 10,000 times. And guess what? If you give up at 9,999, you have to start all over again for the brain to actually reprogram. When you use self-hypnosis, when you're guided by a facilitator, it happens quicker and faster. Matter of fact, I got a brand new client. And before she got off the phone with me, a Zoom call, she had an email that was inviting her to speak at a conference.
Isn't that interesting? You know what's so crazy about that is because people don't think that it was, they literally changed their energy around themselves. And if you want to go woo-woo there, the law of attraction, right? Being on that same frequency to attract what they want. I totally buy into that. How about you?
I absolutely buy into that. And I've seen it happen over and over again. Matter of fact, she texted me yesterday, got another invitation to a different speaking engagement. So it can happen that quickly. But sometimes we have stuff in our lives, in our past, that we're still bumping against. And here's the reality, and this is science-based, that memory imprint predicts your future. And so therefore, it might have been as simple as someone saying something to you. It could have been a traumatic event. But that memory is being triggered, and that's predicting your future. So someone who is nervous on stage, had a horrible time on stage, every time they go to get on stage, their knees knock and they sweat like crazy and they're shaking like crazy because of that memory of the past. So you can kind of see how that memory will predict your future if you don't stop and change it. Kind of like what I was doing for 5 years, doing the same thing over and over again and hoping for different results. That hope doesn't work.
No. And sometimes I'll hear from somebody who's like, I tried what you said and it didn't work. And I'm specifically talking about also changing your mindset around attracting things, right? And I'm like, I have been studying this stuff for 30 years. So first of all, number one, I know it works. Number two, it didn't work, obviously, for the first 28 years, right? I mean, I've had some successes here and there, but the moment, right? It literally takes kind of almost a lifetime to master that, to be able to change your energy to get what you want. So it does. And Vickie, I'm going to ask you this question because you and I had worked together for a little bit. And that first month that you worked with me, what happened?
I've had a $10,000 month.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I mean, it was no different than any other month, right? But again, the minute you said yes to yourself and about believing and investing in yourself, something happens right away. Same thing happened to me when I brought on the coach, the right coach, right? The moment I said yes, all of a sudden things started to pop. Now, it can still happen with just a hypnosis session also, right?
Okay.
Because you're changing your energy around what you're thinking, what you're doing, what you're believing.
Right. And then
Yeah,
the coaching practice is to continue to reinforce that
right.
so that you can continue to do differently, think differently, and feel differently. Absolutely.
Yeah. So give me another. I just love, I just love you, and I just love the hypnosis piece of this, that you're a certified hypnotist. So give me another client that you've worked with, because I know you do other things besides sales and training, right? Um, and you also do EFT. Give us an example of EFT work and how you've helped someone.
Of course, I would very much appreciate that. And I am shocked and surprised you asked me because you are one of the non-believers for a long time
I know.
until we worked together and some amazing things happened for you. And
It's
a lot of
probably actually even funny that we're friends because, right? Because the first thing I signed up with you was for a weight loss program. And then I signed it and you're like, it's EFT. And I'm like, no, thanks. I'm out. Keep the money. I'm out. Right. How close-minded was that? How did you even become friends with me after that?
Well,
Right.
I've always adored you. I really have. We've always had great conversations. As you said, we were in the same coaching program together.
Yeah.
And when I needed a new coach, I chose you because I liked your vision as far as knowing energy is everything and law of attraction does work and the practicality of what you do. So that's what I needed. And we did become friends because of it. And we were friends because we both had blue healers. So we both had a straight
Right? The dogs brought us together.
And we would shop, we would swap stories and pictures and all that kind of stuff of our dogs. So
and you made me an EFT believer. You
I
turned my
did.
closed mind. You opened up my closed mind about that.
I did. And partially that's because I apologized for whoever that person was that you had a bad experience with. And it doesn't matter what profession you're in, unfortunately, there's always a few bad apples, or they're not good at what they do. And unfortunately, you met one of those people. It's emotional freedom techniques is what it's originally called. Although I like EFT because it also stands for electronic funds transfers, and I'm good with those too. So,
me too.
Emotional freedom techniques has now turned into the term tapping. So it's a whole new marketing term, and that's a whole story on itself of watching marketing happen. So tapping is using your fingertips to tap on meridian endpoints, mostly around your head, that are associated with feelings and with certain areas of your body. So an example would be I was out before we moved to Florida. We were buying 50 acres in Virginia, 50 acres plus in Virginia. And when we would go see 50 acres, we would walk with the realtor 50 acres. Right? We wanted to know what we were buying. And we were out for the third or fourth weekend with this gentleman, and I could tell he just wasn't feeling well. And I'm like, "Are you okay?" And he goes, "No, not really. I suffer from cluster migraines. And cluster migraines come for about 6 weeks every year, so they can't predict them. Every year I just get them. So, well, I don't know if this will work for you," which I never know. I never know if it's going to work.
Right.
But I know that if you just tap on this point right here in the corner, so keep this in mind, folks, if you tap on this right here, this is for headaches. And just do it gently and just kind of, you can think about the headache or not, doesn't matter. It wasn't 5 minutes. He said his headache was gone. Like, has that ever happened before? He said, no, it hasn't ever happened. Now, the great thing that happened was my husband is fully supportive of what I do. But like Gene, he's not so sure that tapping works, although I've done it with him many times and it's worked. So we're sitting at a dinner table at a restaurant, signing a contract for a piece of property that we're buying in Virginia. And my husband's going like this. And the realtor goes, "What's going on?" He goes, "I have a headache." And he goes, I didn't have to say a word. And that has happened. That has happened over and over and over again. People just change their thought process, their feeling about things, or sometimes pain just simply goes away. Speaking to 100 people about this technique, and there was this woman that kept getting up and walking after every round I was doing, showing them how to do this for themselves. And finally, I stopped and I said, "Are you okay?" She goes, "Yeah, I just have been in really horrible hip pain for the past 3 months or talking surgery, and right now it's gone. So I'm walking to see if it's really gone or if it's just my thought process." And that whole hour, her pain was gone.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I, all right. So there may be people out there who need to stop smoking or need to lose weight or have a sales team, right? Because you incorporate not just training, sales training into your for your sales teams, you also incorporate hypnosis and EFT, right?
I do, and it's also around the psychology of success. So it's
Right.
teaching people to change their mindset to the psychology of success in sales. Now, here's what's amazing, and you know this too, Jean, is that all of this work, it all ripples out into your life.
Mhm.
So now relationships are better and your health is better because you decide to make different choices. And that's what's so rewarding about the work that I do is I can help you in one specific area, but I can watch as other things in your life begin to morph and change for your better because you
Yes.
choose for it to.
I love that. I love that. So how can people get in touch with you? Should they listen? Because I know you can do this stuff over Zoom, right?
Mhm.
So how can they get in touch with you? Should they have pain or some people just have a fear of picking up the phone, right?
Mhm.
Could use maybe a couple hypnosis sessions to get through that. I know you also do, because you've done a couple for me, is custom hypnosis things that people can play over and over and over, right? So, how can they get in touch with you?
I think you have my email address. So it's Vickie, Vickie,
Yep.
at vickiegriffith.com. And if you email me, I'll get you out my scheduling link and we'll get something on the calendar. It's free to talk to me for those first 30 minutes. So let's just see if it's something that I can support you with and we'll go from there.
And tell her Gene Kuhn sent you. Or Gene
Exactly.
Kuhn sent you. So, Vickie, thank you for being here today. I was so excited when I'd forgotten. I never remember, right? I have to every Wednesday. It's a surprise who's on my calendar because I think we're booked like through October already.
Yay.
So yeah, yay. So I was so excited when I woke up this morning and looked at my calendar and saw that it was you, and I had an opportunity to, even though I don't, it's not like I don't talk to you a couple times a week, which I love that part. But I'm really grateful that you gave me your time today to share this information with me and some other people.
Well, thank you for having me on. It's been fun, as always.
As always, thank you.
Go to
I,
Jean's conference. You'll have fun and you'll learn a lot.
yeah, and maybe if yeah, I hope you'll come. I hope you'll come. I know you're in Florida and
Mhm.
it's coming in Chicago, but it's in person, no more virtual. And think about that. Think about coming because wouldn't it be cool for people who watch you on a podcast to be able to meet you?
Yeah, that would be awesome. That would be
It would
awesome. And maybe not snow yet.
no, no, there will be no snow in October. That's it's not Colorado. This isn't Colorado. All right. Have a good day. I will talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye.